doing something a little bit differently. Besides an adapting video or something along those lines, I did a I created my own Power Ranger team. This is my own Power Ranger team. The Power Ranger team is called Power Rangers. You know what? I'm gonna let y'all decide. Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all decide what this team name should be, and the team, I'm gonna leave it up to you. So put in your comments which one the team name will be, and whichever one I like the best will be picked. But anyway, let's just jump in. So the first person that I created was the Red Ranger. This is the Red Ranger of the season. I decided to grab parts from every different season. So you see we got some Zeo in there, we got some SPD. The helmet is just custom. I don't know what season this visor is from, but I don't know. But yeah, let's just jump in. So, this Red Ranger is based off of me, actually. I decided to base this Red Ranger off of me and off of someone of my family. But anyway, yeah. So, this is the Red Ranger. His name is Ryu. I'm pretty sure I used that for another adapting video, but Ryu is just such a name that I like so much. But his name is Ryu. His nickname is Ninja, just like mine. But basically, Ryu and his brother grew up in New York. While they grew up, all the characters are from New York. So they grew up in New York, and one day Ryu and his brother were out playing a sport. It could be any type of sport. Um, and what had happened was when they were playing the sport, Ryu, they walked away and they saw a glowing flash from an alleyway, and that's probably not a good thing to do. So Ryu and his brother went to investigate, and they found out about the morphing grid and all that. And when they found out about the morphing grid, they decided to try and stop them because they had a little bit of martial arts experience. And Ryu and his brother are both orphaned. They don't have parents. So when they went to go fight the people, they found out that they were trying to harness the morphing grid. And when they were trying to harness the morphing grid, Ryu's brother got caught in the crossfire and got blasted, and Ryu's brother disappeared. Then Ryu decided to fight off every single person in that facility for his brother, and then that's when the bond of the Red Ranger came to him. You see that little arm gauntlet? That arm gauntlet connects to Ryu. That gauntlet is basically the morpher of the season, and it connected to Ryu. One flew right past Ryu and spread out to various other places, which Ryu didn't know. But Ryu became the Red Ranger that night, and he decided to become the Red Ranger in order to fight the evils that day. And he found out there was a bunch of monsters trying to take over New York and etc. And that would lead to the premise of the season. It's not going to be a Ryu-based season, that's for sure, but that is just the origin of how Ryu got his powers. So basically, Ryu wanted to investigate something with his brother. His brother ended up getting vaporized, seemingly so, and Ryu bonded with a gauntlet that gave him the Red Ranger ability of the season. Now let's get to the Blue Ranger, and the Blue Ranger's name is probably one of the most basic names, but the Blue Ranger's name is Zane. Zane is not that authentic, but it's also very unique. So Zane is a private eye. He is a private eye, and basically that means he does his own thing. Zane would probably be the oldest of the group, being 18. Being 23. Ryu's brother would be the second oldest, being 22. But Zane would be a private eye. He is also Ryu's cousin as well. So basically, this will be a family of Rangers, and it spread to Ryu's cousin. His gauntlet had spread to him because Ryu and him are related, and since Zane is a private eye, there was already good within him. But Zane's origin is pretty simple. He actually used to live in New York, but went to Atlanta, Georgia. And when he went to Atlanta, Georgia, this is where the gauntlet found him. And yeah, that's pretty much Zane's premise. They decided to first, the team, well, I'll get to that later, but yeah. So Zane got his gauntlet from after all the gauntlets got sent out, because the gauntlets took a speck of Ryu's DNA. So basically, anyone that was related to Ryu, who the gauntlets deemed worthy because the gauntlets are sentient, they would bond. So that's how Zane got his. Now we head into the Green Ranger, and the Green Ranger's name is actually going to be Kyle. Kyla. 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 Kyle. Kyla. But the way you pronounce it is Kyla. Basically, Kyla is also related to Ryu, being another cousin. This team is going to be full of coolie people. I don't care. People that look like me. So his gauntlet bonded to him. Kyler was actually in a very bad place. You see, Kyler is actually a criminal. He is actually a bad guy. But the gauntlet decided to pick him because of the gauntlet's sentient side, and it decided to see Kyler as a good person. So Kyler basically became the Green Ranger by chance. But during the season, he will progress into a good guy. In the first couple episodes, you will see that he will try to use his powers for gain. So yeah. Meanwhile, here's what is gonna be authentic about the season that I'll cover later. Now let's head into the Yellow Ranger. The Yellow Ranger's name is going to be Zaf. Zaf and Zane. I'm sorry, the Yellow Ranger. That's the Pink Ranger. I'm gonna just head to Pink Ranger. Sorry. So the Pink Ranger's name is gonna be Zaf, Zaf, and Zane. Zaf and Zane are brother and sister, and they are also related to Ryu. Zaf is not a private eye. She's just a normal. Zaf is actually she is a martial arts teacher. She teaches martial arts to children to better the youth. You could see how her suit is very different. But yeah, the Gauntlet decided to choose her. Um, because of its powers, but you see that the gauntlet had to take a new different shape because of her being a female, so it turned into armbands instead, like little armbands instead of a full gauntlet like the boys. That's the redesign I decided to use. And yeah, so Zaf and Zane are brothers and they are both Ryu's cousins. Now we head to the second girl on the team, which is the Yellow Ranger, and the Yellow Ranger's name is actually going to be called Shiv. Shiv, short for Shiva, the Hindu god. They all, these powers will derive from Hindu gods, if that makes sense. So I'll probably have to go into that differently. But yeah, the powers are derived from Hindu gods because I've always liked my culture. So yeah, so her name is Shiv. Her powers aren't even based off of Shiva; they're based off a different one. But yeah, she is a cousin of Ryu as well. She was a she is actually she's solo. She's solo. She is a freelancer. She does whatever she wants, and the Gauntlet decided to choose her because of the DNA. See, the Gauntlets are very different. They're not just picking people because they're good. The Gauntlets can pick evil people. They can, and there's gonna be episodes like that if the Rangers lose their Gauntlets. You see, if the person is related to Ryu, because what the plot is basically Ryu's parents were actually working on these gauntlets to harness the morphing grid. And when they had harnessed the morphing grid, they put their son's bloods into the gauntlets. So that's why the gauntlets bonded with the Ryu so fast. So even if the person has Ryu's DNA in it or something around that, the gauntlets will bond to them. So it could be a very evil person. That's the example for the Green Ranger right now. Um, he got bonded even though he's a bad guy. So yeah, that's how that works. And the sixth ranger for the team is a Black Ranger, and this is Ryu's brother. You see, after he got vaporized, the Gauntlet was able to save him, and he went on a whole training arc on a different planet, becoming the most formidable on the team, which is that's kind of like a Tommy Oliver situation there. But that's the team. The villains, there's not really a villain design thing, but I'll let you guys take on the villain sides. But yeah, that's my team of Rangers so far. I'll let y'all base them off make the team name. Their powers are derived of Hindu gods. The Red Ranger is Shiva. The Blue Ranger is Ganesh. The Green Ranger is actually based off of Krishna. The Black Ranger is is based off of Ram. The Pink Ranger is based off of the Mother Durga, and the Yellow Ranger is based off of based off of Lakshmi. So those are where their powers derive of. I've always liked the Hindu side, and I've always wanted to see a Hindu like Power Ranger scene or something Hindu in general. Come on, man. Hindu's culture is just such an amazing thing that you can go into, especially for games like Assassin's Creed or God of War. Definitely. So that's where their powers come from. They're all Hindu, so that's why they're bonded to the Gauntlets because Ryu's parents wanted the Gauntlets to pick people of Hindu descent, but were also related to Ryu, right? The villains are definitely going to look a lot more scary. Definitely, they're going to look very scary. But yeah, and in the there's going to be episodes such as Ryu finding out his brother is still alive, Zane and Zaf arguing, the Green Ranger having his redemption arc, even the Hindu gods showing up and also seeing if they are worthy, because these Hindu gods are actually champions. So these Rangers are champions to these Hindu gods, which is a new concept for me. But yeah, that's it for this video pretty much. This is my Ranger team.